views expressed on this program are not those of IntellectualRadio.com, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady Reshell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Reshell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It's Health and Wellness Monday, and our topic for today is men, how to take their health. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive at 5 with Roman. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, I spoke with Whitney Turner, and we talked about mental health, a passion to serve. If you missed that episode, go over to YouTube, type in Intellectual Radio, and stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, "A healthy outside starts from the inside." We are grateful for our sponsor. We have Emanuel C.O.G.I.C with Pastor Michael Richardson, who has a special message for us.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And we're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emanuel C.O.G.I.C at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emanuel C.O.G.I.C-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson, and we're from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
Here are your trending topics for today. According to CNN, there are over 100 of heat-related deaths in New York City each summer, but the rate at which Black people die is twice as high compared to other racial and ethnic groups, according to the city's health department. As millions of people in over a dozen states are under some type of heat alert, cities continue setting high temperature records. Health officials in New York City published a report on Thursday examining the deadly impact of heat in recent decades. Heat is the number one cause of weather-related deaths in the United States. Data of health-related deaths in New York City from 2011 to 2021 showed that an annual average of 360 deaths caused by high temperatures exacerbating health conditions like diabetes and heart disease. While the New York City Health Department did not disclose demographic data about the number of deaths in which heat worsens an existing condition, it said that Black New Yorkers are disproportionately impacted and it is the reflection of impacts of structural racism. Those are your trending topics for today. If you are tuned in on any form of social media, like the show, share the show, invite someone else in on the show that may benefit from this valuable information. Our topic today is men, how to take charge of your health. June is National Men's Health Month, and this month is all about promoting awareness about preventable diseases, health problems, and encourage men to go to the doctor to get detected early on some of these diseases when they are most treatable. When it comes to men's health, the things that are included is it talks about the state of the physical health, the mental health, the social well-being experienced by men, and it talks about it merely not being the absence of disease. Sometimes we feel like if we haven't been diagnosed with a disease, such as diabetes or heart disease, high blood pressure, we feel like we're healthy. But if you're not going to the doctor regularly to make sure that you are getting those things checked out, then you're left in the dark. So this month is all about making sure that we as women stay on top of our men to make sure they go to the doctor and get a regular routine going on when you go to the doctor. So when you go and get your annual appointment, set your next year's appointment. That way you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to keep saying, oh, I'm gonna do my appointment, I'm gonna set my appointment, and then you forget about it. When time is reaching for your appointment, the doctor's office will call you and say, hey, you have an appointment coming up in 2 weeks. This is just a reminder. And you don't have to worry about setting that appointment. It just makes it easier for you. Or an easier way to do it is, the way I do it is I set it around my birthday. So I know every birthday it's time for me to go and get my annual appointment, right? And who wants to go to the doctor? I hate going to the doctor. I hate going to the doctor even more since I had a cancer diagnosis. I don't like going to the doctor because I feel like, okay, it's going to be some bad news, or, what are they looking for? But no, you want to go so that if anything is going on in your body, that you are getting ahead of those things, or you're ruling those things out altogether. We don't want to wait until we're sick, until we have symptoms that we can't ignore, and then we're sitting in the doctor's office expecting them to perform a miracle. No, we don't. We want to make sure that we have a schedule every single year, at least. You're going to the doctor to make sure that you are putting something in place to prevent those diseases that are out there that can be prevented. So according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, men in the United States, on average, die 5 years earlier than women. And I heard a saying that men that are married also live longer than men who are single. So men have the highest death rate among women when it comes to the 10 top deadliest diseases in the U.S. And that comes with, because women, for some reason, we go to the doctor more. I don't know if it's because, like, you're pregnant, you're going to be at the doctor, to make sure you go to your appointments for the baby. We have to get our pap smear every year or every other year, depending on your age. Like, there are certain things. The mammogram is once a year. And I don't want to make it seem like women are perfect when it comes to doing these things, because there are some women out there that do not go to the doctor regularly. It's just so happens that on average, women go more than the man goes. So that's why you have a partner that's able to push you, go to the doctor with you, help make your appointments, and hold you accountable for what it is that you need to do to live a healthier life. According to statistics, it shows that 2/3 of men say they avoid going to the doctor. They don't like it. And if you felt like you were going to get bad news all the time, you probably wouldn't go to the doctor either. You'd be like, nah, every time I go, they're going to tell me something bad. And so you avoid going to the doctor. But the screenings and the checkups, it says it's a key step into our wellness when it comes to us being well. Just getting the annual screenings and your checkup can help you live a healthier life. And again, the screenings it depends on your age, and that determines what type of screening that you're going to get, or it depends on your family history as well. So if you have a family history of certain things, then you know that you're going to be talking to your doctor and say, hey, breast cancer runs in my family. My mom had breast cancer. When do I need to start getting tested? Or my father had prostate cancer. When do I need to start getting tested? And at that point, the doctor will set up something to have you to come in to start getting tested. The doctor may say, oh, you're young, so let's just wait. Or they may have you getting tested every 5 years or every year. It just depends. But you're not going to know if you're not having that conversation with your doctor. So let's talk about 5 factors or barriers that prevent men from going to the doctor and getting that information that would help support their health. So the first thing is they're hoping that it's not an issue, right? So they're in denial about what's going on in their body. And denial is a barrier that keeps you from taking care of your health. When you have symptoms, you may say, oh, that's a part of getting old, or, oh, yeah, I remember I played basketball yesterday, so maybe this is feeling this way because, I overexerted myself. Like, we come up with these excuses as to why we're having these aches. And sometimes the aches don't go away. So it's important to pay attention to your body, to the aches and pains in your body, and to know when something is just not quite right. we know when something is not quite right in our body. I think about, like, for a woman in her breast, if you're doing your monthly breast exams every month and 1 month you feel a lump, right? So don't alarm yourself, because according to statistics, they say 85% of lumps that women find are non-cancerous. So at that point, if you feel a lump, then what you should do is get a piece of paper, write down 2 circles, write down where you found the lump. Then when you do your exam the next month, is the lump, if it's still there, then you should be talking to your doctor to say, hey, I found a lump and, I want to know what's going on. I want to check into it. But you have to be doing the monthly exams every single month to know that something is not right. And the same thing for men when it comes to testicular cancer. You should be doing some type of exam as well as checking your pectoral area to see if there are any changes. And this is just so you can get to know your body, because once you know your body, then you know when something is not normal. You know, oh, this is not right, or this doesn't feel right. Number two, and this is about the factors or the barriers when it comes to men taking care of their health, is taking too long to do something about their health. So when you find out something is wrong, a lot of times we put it off, right? We say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the doctor next week. Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm planning on going." And what happened? You never go. And the only reason why you go is because those symptoms become, either you get rushed to the emergency room, or it's something you can't deny. And it's ailing you, and it's interrupting your daily routine. And this is delayed seeking information. Sometimes if you're not getting the information in a timely manner when it comes to the different screenings, it could be a matter of life or death. It could be a matter of the quality of life that you have if you're catching these diseases in the later stages. So that's why it's important to get the necessary screenings. If you notice, a lot of times they don't say cancer prevention, right? Because a lot of the cancers are not preventable. So a lot of them, you're not going to hear them say cancer prevention. You're going to hear them say early detection, because the earlier you can detect the cancer, the better off your treatment options will be, and the better chances of you surviving that disease. So they want to be able to get you in there early. So when you feel like something is not quite right, then you should be getting in there and talking to your doctor. So the third factor or barrier that some men may face when it comes to their health is they're worried that asking for help is making them look weak. Right. So, from birth, men are taught, when they're little, oh, don't cry, man up, they want you to be masculine, and they don't want you to look weak. When you think about somebody crying, or, you think about somebody looking weak, right? Because normally the people who be crying, it be women majority of the time. Like, we cry at a drop of a dime, right? But men, they're taught to be strong, so they feel like it's weak. If I gotta go to the doctor, if I gotta ask somebody for help, they feel like, people are gonna look at them like they're weak, like they're soft. But taking charge of your health is being strong. It's, you know, think of the word charge. You taking charge, right? When you take charge of something, you think of somebody that's, they're at the head, they're leading. So in order for you to lead your household, then you got to be in the best shape. You can't lead your household and you sick every day. You got grandkids, you can't even get out to play with them because you don't have any strength. You're weak. And you won't go to the doctor to see why. You won't go and see what's wrong with you. Or another thing is, sometimes you do go to the doctor and you get the news of what's wrong with you and you don't share it. You don't share with anybody. So you're going through this thing all by yourself. You're suffering by yourself. You don't have anybody where you can bounce the idea off of. I'm going through this. I don't know if I'm making the right decision. You don't have anybody. So you're suffering. I remember my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer. We never knew. My mom knew, but they decided they wasn't going to tell the children. So we had no idea. We couldn't even comfort him, help, none of that, because they decided not to tell us. And then a couple of years later, when he got lung cancer, and the doctor said, hey, he has less than 6 months. And then they like, okay, we're gonna tell them this. And it's just like, whoa. So and that could have been because my he was always this strong person. I never seen him sick a day in his life until he was diagnosed with cancer. He never missed a day from work. And so for him to probably tell us that, it would make him look weak. And to have people trying to help you, baby you, when you were the one that people always come to. I get it. I understand it. But in the same breath, think about the people that when you die that you leave behind who was dependent on you. You just think about that. Think about your family. So I know that it can make you feel that way, but you have to get past it, and you have to think about what's more important, and that's you being here for your family. So number 4, the barrier that or factor that could be in the way of men taking care of their health is they have trouble talking about it. And I just talked about that. They have trouble talking about it because people look at them like they're weak, or maybe they really don't even understand it themselves. Like they don't know everything that's going on. But when you talk to somebody that you trust, and you have a support team that you trust, and they're going to make sure that you get the best care possible, whatever the doctor is telling you, they're going to be there to question it, or they're going to be there to say, yes, this is what you need to do. There is no way that you should have to go at it alone. If you're married or you're dating, you have a partner, and that partner is not concerned about your health. They never ask, are you going to the doctor? Have you been to the doctor? If they're not even concerned, but you see them going to the doctor, you see them taking care of themselves, like something's wrong with that picture. Women, we have such a big impact on men when it comes to their health, when it comes to them making decisions about their health. Just even the food that we cook at home, we can cook healthier foods. We can make sure, maybe 2-3 days out of the week that they're eating healthy, at least while they're in your presence. When they're not, then you don't know what they're eating, but as long when they're in your presence, you know that you're cooking some healthy food. You can help them make better selections when they're with you. You're a big influence on them. They see you doing stuff, and if they see that your life is benefiting from it, then they're going to want to have a part of that. So we play a big role when it comes to men. So men may feel nervous, they may feel embarrassed about talking to somebody about it, about getting support. They may feel like when they've talked to doctors in the past that they didn't get a support. Sometimes doctors will make you seem like, oh, it's all in your head, right? They'll make it seem like it's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes, especially if you're younger and you're coming in asking about a certain disease, they may say, no, you couldn't possibly have that. It's all in your head. So sometimes you have to push. You have to be your own best advocate and push and be persistent about things that you want, about tests that you want. Speak up. It's your life. You only get one life. So the 5th barrier is not sure if you can trust the information. Again, the doctors, they're practicing, right? So if you give them some symptoms, they may go and type it in the computer, and then it'll come up and say, oh, this is what they have just from the symptoms that you gave them. And if you're not being honest about the symptoms, or you're not telling them everything, and then what they're going to do, they're going to prescribe you some medicine for you to take, and you're going to go home and take it. And what is the medicine doing? It's putting a Band-Aid on whatever it is that's wrong with you instead of getting to the root cause of it. So be honest when you go to the doctor, whatever it is, because you want them to, in their expert opinion, all the years it took for them to go to school, you want them to come to a conclusion that's going to help you and not harm you. And we know some of the medicine out here can harm us. It's not doing us any good. It's just putting a Band-Aid on it with all, and then you have all these side effects that comes from the medicine that you taking, and you never get better. And you're like, I've been taking this medicine for how long, and I haven't gotten better. These symptoms are not going away. So Kenya said prideful. I think she was talking. Yeah, I think men can be prideful when it comes to going to the doctor, but prideful for what? I mean, it's not, if you have any symptoms and you're not feeling well and you're hiding it, eventually it's going to come to a halt, and people are going to see or know anyway. But I'm talking about going for preventive stuff so that you don't have to get to that point. You know, you could be proud and say, yeah, I go to the doctor. I go routinely, and believe it or not, men encourage other men. You may encourage somebody else to go to the doctor who probably wouldn't go at all. Kellogg says, hey, we hold our pain to ourselves. I think we don't want to feel weak or bother others. If somebody loves you, it's not a bother. And I get the weak part. I get the feeling weak in front of somebody, but even if you don't want to feel weak in front of your woman and you telling her, hey babe, I'm setting my annual appointment, or you guys set it together, you initiate it, babe, let's set our annual appointments and go get our physicals. We could set them on the same date. She go get her physical, you go get y'all. Y'all probably not going to see the same doctor. And then you can tell the doctor everything you want to tell the doctor, and you didn't have to tell your woman or look weak in front of your woman. But I mean, we don't even want to do that. It's just like I don't know why it's hard to get. Maybe I don't know why. The trust factor is a big thing. Men probably have a hard time trusting another man telling them when they get there that this is wrong with you, because it feels like every time you go, it feels like something is wrong with you, right? Go, and if you don't trust that doctor, if you have a doctor that you don't trust or you don't feel comfortable with, get you another doctor. Research and find out what's the best doctor for whatever it is that you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you, or whatever it is that in your life that you're trying to make sure that you stay on top of that. Go to the best hospitals, right? We know Northwestern here is the best one. Go to the top ones where they're not going to keep giving you appointments after the appointments and pushing your appointments out and making you seem like you crazy because you're asking for certain tests. Hey, so Walter, thank you for joining us. This is your body. You have one body. And I'm telling you, when it breaks down, it's just like, it's so hard to build it back up. It's possible, but it's hard. So if you could do things to maintain it, and these things are within your control, then why not do that? Why not do it for you, and why not do it for your family? I think about the guy that played the Black Panther, and how he was young. He was 43, and he was diagnosed with colon cancer. And although this ran in his family, cancer ran in his family, he has a brother right now that's in remission from cancer. Never in a million years did he expect to go in for them to say he's at the height of his career. He's pushing movies out like crazy for them to say, hey, you have colon cancer. He wasn't even at the age for him to start getting screening for colon cancer. Although when you have cancer in your family, at some point you're talking to your doctor to say, hey, colon cancer runs in my family, prostate cancer runs in my family, breast cancer runs in my family. I'm 34. What do I need to do? There are blood tests out here that they can give you that could tell you what your risks are. They could tell you where you're at and when you should start screening. We should be partnering with our doctors. And I know sometimes you may be seeing because a lot of times doctors leave, they switch, and it may be a partnership to where you may be seeing more than one person. But we should be making a partnership with our doctors. It should be somebody where we should feel comfortable with, because we should be trusting what they say. Walter said his story both scared me and inspired me to seek help. And I feel like it should have did that for all men, because it just lets you know that nobody is exempt, right? Not even him. As good of a person he was, as good of an actor he was, he wasn't even exempt. And before we knew it, he was out of here. And colon cancer is preventable. You just need to get a colonoscopy, but you need to know what your risks are. So again, if it's running in your family, then you need to that's something that you share with your doctor. When you go to the doctor, they give you a form and they say, what are these things that run in your family? They list those things. And all you have to do is check those things off to say, yeah, this runs in my family. Even if it's not on there, then that's still something that you could talk to the doctor about to say, well, hey, this runs in my family. What should I be doing about it? So that I don't want to say that you could get ahead of it, but so that you could be in that preventable stage. Because again, if they're catching it early, that means you already have it. You already have it, and early just means they could do more for you. That just means your chances of survival is high. But if you have some things that you can prevent just by incorporating a healthier lifestyle and a healthy routine, why not do that? And I'm sure if he was able to come back and do that he would. I'm sure he would. But some people don't get that option. So while you're here, while you're breathing and you have a chance to turn things around, start where you are. Wherever you are in your health journey, start there. Go to the doctor, get your numbers. Your numbers are important. Your numbers, they're going to test your sugar. They're going to test your blood pressure. They're going to test your cholesterol numbers. Get all of your numbers, and that'll be your baseline. And from there, every year you go back, if things are changing in a good direction or a bad direction, the doctor's going to let you know that. And if it's in a bad direction, they're going to say, okay, wait, maybe we should be doing these things, or what are you doing, because something is changing. But if you never go to the doctor and you never know where you are, then how can they put a successful plan in place for you that's going to work if they don't know? So you have to go. This is your body. So you can't blame the doctors. Oh, they're not giving me the right information. This is your body. You should be researching your own stuff. I hurt my foot and the doctor was trying to give me some steroids and trying to give me some medicine, inflammatory medicine. I was like, yeah, no. And I asked him, I said, is there anything I can do naturally without taking that medicine? Because I don't take medicine. He said, well, the things that you could do naturally is not going to happen as quick as it would if you take the medicine. And I get that. And then I was like, what are the side effects from the medicine? And when he told me, like, one of them made me feel like I was high and I was on edge all the time, but it was going to help with the inflammation. And, and the steroids, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to take any medicine. And I didn't. And I went to see the doctor Friday and she was like, oh, your foot is healing well. It's 3 weeks out and it's healing like it should. And she asked me, was I taking medicine? I said, no. She said, good. So sometimes, it's about asking questions, what your options are. Sometimes the doctors will give you a trial. They'll say, hey, let's do 3 months and you exercise, eat right, and have less stress, and let's see where you are and come back. We can't even follow through on that. Why? Because our lives are so busy. Busy doing what? Your health is wealth. So if you're working and you're doing all of these things, and then you're not taking care of the machine, eventually that machine is going to break down. Walter said, is there a place where a man with no insurance can get checked out for colon cancer? Oh, that's a good question. And my only, I would say there are so many organizations out here that do help for things with cancer related when you don't have insurance. I would say start with your county hospital, because I know we all have them, right? We all have them. I would say start there and find out what the procedure is from, the county if you don't have insurance and you want to get checked out for colon cancer. Also keep in mind that they do have over-the-counter tests that you can take, and not to say that they take the place of a colonoscopy, but it will give you some information to let you know if you need to seek a doctor. So you may want to start there is doing the over-counter colon test. And then from there, look into getting a test again through your county. Because I know if you go through these hospitals, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to send that person around that's collecting your information about insurance. I will go, yeah, Stroger is actually a good one. People may discount it, but I'm telling you, the county hospitals, when you go in there, you may be there all day for a week, pack a lunch. But before you leave, you're going to know what's wrong with you. They're not going to send you home without telling you what's wrong with you. So that's the best place to start. And then once you do that, and then you establish a relationship with a doctor to where you can say, okay, I can come back here, next year. They may say you need to follow up. They may say don't come back for 10 years. They may say come back in 3 years. Will Smith did his colonoscopy. He videotaped it, right? And they did find a polyp. The doctor removed the polyp. So I think she told him to come back within 3 years. So it ran in his family. So he took the initiative. He was at that age to where he needed to get it done, and he got it done. And just say he was 50 when he got it done. Just say he waited till he was 60 to go and get a colonoscopy. The polyps tells you that, the cancer it can form into cancer over time. So that's why they remove the polyps before they turn into cancer. But if the polyps are left there, then they turn into cancer. So it could be 10 years before those polyps turn into cancer. But if you're not going to the doctor, then there's a chance that it's going to turn into cancer because it's not going to be removed. Kenya said they definitely got some good doctors at Stroge. They really do. And people discount it because, it's, you don't have to pay, it's free, whatever. But trust me, there's some good doctors there, and you're going to find out what's wrong. Walter said, my son is 32. Should he be checking for colon cancer? If colon cancer runs in your family, I would say yes. Then he should be getting checked for colon cancer. I would say if it's just cancer that runs in the family, then he should be talking to the doctor to say, hey, cancer runs in my family. I'm 32. Should I be getting checked for colon cancer? Then the doctor's going to ask a series of questions around colon cancer to see if they need to do a test. Because, at 32, the age for your colonoscopy is 45. It was 50 at one point. I don't know when it went to 45, but it's at 45. And I didn't get mine done until 50. So, and I probably should have gotten it done earlier because of me having a cancer diagnosis already, but I got it done at 50. And so I would say 32 if he's doesn't have a family history of colon cancer and he's not having any issues as it relates to the colon. I would still talk to the doctor at 32 to say cancer runs in my family, what type of cancer it is. Should I be worried about colon cancer or any type of cancer? So like with my girls, I was diagnosed at 43. So they say 10 years, your person should be checked. So at 33, my daughters should be, but I'm telling them, no, tell your doctor early. As soon as you are going, when I take them to the doctor, I tell the doctor when the doctor is examining them, I tell them, hey, I had a breast cancer diagnosis, so that they can just be on the lookout for anything strange, anything that could be going on. That's something that the doctor needs to know what's in your family, so they'll know what to look for, what to focus on, versus just going in there just doing a regular physical. The physical can be catered to whatever it is that you need for your health. But we have to open our mouths, and we got to go to the doctor. We got to get there, and a lot of times we don't get there. All right, I want to take a quick break, you guys, because of course I want to recognize my sponsor who has been with me since, I think she's been with me like 4 years now. And she is Paula Kelly with Allstate, and she is located at 327 East Glenwood Lansing Road in Glenwood, Illinois. And she can be reached at 708-758-3300. And Paula, again, I always say she is a breast cancer survivor. And she is one of the ones who has been actively out in the community, making sure that she spread her journey with everybody, and just making sure that everybody live a healthy lifestyle. When you get a diagnosis of anything, especially something that's life threatening, you don't want anybody else to get that diagnosis, right? You don't want anybody to get that diagnosis. So you're going to make sure that you are opening your mouth and you are sharing it with anybody that you can, so that they don't have to have that diagnosis. So check her out. Let her know that Warriors Talk sent you. Call her up for a quote for insurance, auto, home, life. You want an agency with integrity, then she is your person. All right. So we're talking about men's health, and we want them to take charge of their health. We talked about the barriers that stop men from going to the doctor, getting information, and we talked about the different diseases that are associated. We know that men have, out of the 10 top diseases in the US, that they die at an alarming rate. We mentioned that men are dying 5 years earlier than women. Why is that? Why is that? All right, so let's talk about, and I think I mentioned some of these already. These are one of the deadly diseases that that are high on the list when it comes to men and women, basically in the US, right? Heart disease. Men and women are dying from heart disease, but men are dying, as it relates to the top 10, they're dying at a higher rate than women are. It says 1/4 of males deaths are due to heart disease. We all probably know somebody that had a heart attack. We all know somebody that had arteries that was clogged, and you're like, what? They like, yeah, my arteries was clogged 90%. It's like, how was you walking around with your arteries clogged? And that comes, it's lifestyle. And it doesn't happen overnight, you guys. It doesn't happen overnight. So you could feel like, I've been eating like this for 10 years. All right. It may not happen till that 11th year that you have been eating all of this bad stuff that has been clogging your arteries. And many of us don't detox, right? You're not detoxing all of this poisonous out of your body. A lot of that stuff get trapped in the colon because we never detox. You could take 1 or 2 days to eat just fruits and vegetables every day. I believe that what really helped me when it came to colon cancer is because I became vegan in 2018. So I stopped eating meat. It helps. Just the little things happen. I'm not saying that you need to be a vegan, but just watch what it is that you're eating, what it is that you're putting in your mouth. So according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, cancer is one of the leading causes of death with men in the U.S. We all know a man that has passed away from prostate cancer, just about lung cancer, even breast cancer. More than 20% of all male deaths are from cancer. And it has a lot to do with screening. Screening makes a big difference of catching the disease again early, not preventing it, but catching it early when it comes to cancer. Catching it in those earliest stages to where your treatment has many options and your chances of survival is better. Number 3 is accidents. And I think with accidents, it has to do with men are more adventurous than women. When you're at home and you're fixing something, you may climb on a ladder. You really may not be paying attention to make sure that things are clear around you. And you may not have anybody spotting you while you go up there, and then you fall, nobody's there. And by the time somebody come help you, if you hit your head, you laid there unconscious. A lot of men ride motorcycles. Some of them don't wear a helmet. Some of them don't wear the protective gear. And when you go off that bike, it does damage to your body. They talked about accidental poisoning, and it could do from a drug overdose. It could be from alcohol drinking. Little things that could be prevented just taking a little care. just a little bit. Kenya said, yes, knowledge is our power. You definitely educating tonight. My thing is we all have men in our life that we love, that we care about, and that we want to be around for a long time. Watching my father die from lung cancer at 71. He did not have to die at 71. My father was smoking since he was 15, and the doctor told him to stop smoking 25 years before he passed. He told him, if you stop smoking, your lungs will clear up. You need to stop smoking. And smoking is an addiction too. So did he try to stop? Yeah, I've seen him with a patch. I've seen him chew the gum. I've seen him trying to stop, but he couldn't. And eventually he ended up getting lung cancer at 71. His mother lived to be 99. His dad lived to be 81. So longevity runs in his family. But it's according to your lifestyle. Number 4 is the chronic lower respiratory disease. So this is like if you have asthma, bronchitis, and these things, if you're not going to the doctor to take care of these things, like you're not going to get your medicine, you're not taking your medicine. And sometimes as we age, as our body change, our medication prescription may change, and we're not keeping up with our appointments to go to the doctor to get those things taken care of. And these things you don't have to die from. So just making time from your so-called busy schedule to take some time out for your health. Another one is stroke. This is one of those diseases, deadliest diseases that men are dying from. And stroke is the 5th leading cause of death. And it's preventable. It says 80% of all strokes are preventable. And if you just keep your high blood pressure in check, that's one thing that you could do. You should have some type of machine at home to where you're checking your high blood pressure. You could go to Walgreens, CVS to get your blood pressure checked. Talk to your doctor and know where your numbers should be. So when they're not at that point, then okay, what can we do? What can we do to get it at that point? Just that communication is so key, but we so busy living life, working, and when you drop dead, life goes on. At your job, guess what? They're going to replace you. They are going to replace you with somebody else. Let's talk about the power of prevention, because there are so many things that we could do to prevent these deadly diseases that we don't have to die from. Mylea said we have to help keep the men in our lives healthy. My husband and I, they keep each other motivated to eat right, to exercise, and to attend doctor's appointments. It has to be a partnership, Mylea. That's what you should be doing. It should be a partnership deal with you and your spouse, especially if y'all want to grow old together. And you don't want to grow old together to where you pushing him in a wheelchair, you got a cane, you hunched over, y'all have no energy, y'all can't do anything. People got to come in to take care of you all. Like, no, that's not how the end of your life in your elder years should be. It shouldn't be that way. You should have the strength to not run, but have some type of activities with your grandkids. Y'all should still be able to function and not be this, oh God, this handicapped couple to where you just have no life. You're just waiting to die. So the power of prevention. What is it that you can do to prevent your man from living this unhealthy lifestyle? And one of the things that you can do is to look at it like, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this so that I can live longer, so you can have a better quality of life as you get older. So to do that, talk to your doctor about the necessary screenings that you should have. Commit to living a healthier lifestyle. And it's not an overnight process. It takes time. There are things that you can do to incorporate into your life every day, like exercising. We should be getting 150 minutes a week of exercising, 30 minutes a day. That's all you need. It doesn't necessarily require you to go in the gym for all of that. You can walk. There's things that you can do without even have to pay a gym membership. And that's something, the physical activity, that's something that you can do to help prevent stroke, heart attack, diabetes. That stuff, those are things that you have that's within your control that you can do to prevent having these deadly diseases. That's the power of prevention. Watch what you put in your mouth. You don't necessarily have to have that steak every week. Treat yourself every 6 months. You know how long it takes that steak to break down in your system? Do you know how long it takes vegetables and fruits to break down in your system? Eat it 2 hours later, you in the restroom. That steak is going to take a while to break down in your system. And if you're constantly feeding yourself that type of food, all of it is not going to pass out. And that's why a lot of times these arteries are being clogged. The power of prevention, making healthier lifestyle choices, incorporating it into your life a little bit at a time. Again, because if you're trying to do it all at once, then it's going to be overwhelming and you're going to set yourself up for failure. So, as far as eating, focus on fruits, vegetables, whole grain, high in fiber, and a lean source of protein, right? Such as fish. Limit the red meat because red meat is a number one carcinogen, which means it causes cancer. It's a known fact. And eliminate processed foods. You don't always have to eat processed food and saturated fats and sugar, and watch the sodium intake. Some of this stuff is so high in sodium. In our sodium intake, we only supposed to have so much a day. And one thing you can eat can take the whole sodium intake that you're supposed to have in a day. Maintain a healthy weight. A lot of times, a lot of us can be overweight and we think it's cute. You think it's cute until you go to the doctor and the doctor says, you have diabetes, you need to lose 50 pounds. And then you're like, what? Yes, being overweight causes you to have diabetes, type 2 diabetes, when diabetes can be prevented by a healthier lifestyle. Ask me how I know. I have a mom that was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and just from her eating right and doing her exercise, the doctor says you don't have to take that insulin. Again, that stuff within our control, that power of prevention. Quit smoking. If you smoking, I just told you my dad died of lung cancer. Any type of tobacco, form of tobacco that you're using, stop. And if it's hard for you to stop, then ask for help. Ask your doctor for help. Again, my dad tried the patch, he tried the gum. If you're drinking alcohol, alcohol increases your chances of cancer, heart attack, stroke. It does. And drinking water. A lot of us we don't get our daily water intake a day, but we're drinking everything else. We're drinking pop, we're drinking juice, tea, coffee, and we'd be like, oh, it all has water in it. You're not. Your organs need the water, right? To keep function, to lubricate them. And my final one is to reduce the stress. And Walter said, how much water a day? So it depends on your weight. It depends on your weight, your height. You could go on Google and type in how much water should I drink a day, and it's going to ask you your weight. It's going to ask you your height, because it may be different for everybody. Especially if you're on some type of medicine to where you're using medicine, they call them water pills. So you may not be able to drink as much water as the next person. So mental health, stress is a silent killer. So the one thing that you can do, men, to make sure that you're living a healthy lifestyle is to make sure that you're reducing your stress. What did you say, Walter? About to go to Google now. This is my struggle. Oh, the water. Yes, just go to Google. Google is it's a lifesaver sometimes, and then sometimes If you have symptoms and you go to Google and say, Google, I have an itch and then my tummy ache, and you give them another symptom, they be like, oh, you're going to be dead in 24 hours. So if it's something you feel that's medically wrong with you, don't go to Google, make an appointment with your doctor. But stuff for like, how much water should I drink? Yeah, you could type it in Google and Google will let you know. Put your weight, your height in there. It'll let you know how much water you should be drinking. And even with like exercise, you can type in how much you weigh and your height, and it'll tell you how much exercise you should get, if you're trying to lose weight. So we have all these tools that we could use, but we're not at our disposal, but we're not using them. Okay, mental health. I want to get back to that. Stress, depression, anxiety increases your chances, again, of heart disease, stroke, diabetes. So we need to make sure that we are decreasing the stress in our lives. And one way to decrease the stress is to exercise. It's a great way to decrease the stress. So if you know somebody that's dealing with any type of disease, exercise is just a good medicine all the way around that you could do for free. You don't have to pay for it. I post a question on Facebook to men, and I asked some of the men, like, what were they doing to take charge of cancer? And I did get some good answers. I'm gonna read one real quick. Hey, Danielle. Yeah, stress is one of those things that we all need to look out for, because we could go from 0 to 100 and so quick. Walter said Google just said 15.5 cups, 3.7 liters a day for men. Did it ask you your height and your weight though, Walter? Or did it just say for men altogether? So really quick, I'm gonna read one of the comments that I asked men on Facebook. How can you take charge of cancer? And Timothy Tremaine said, surrender to God, serve him, forgive, express emotions, exercise, eat right, and go for your yearly checkup. So it's important to do all of those things in order for you. Again, you want to live an active life, a healthy life, and you don't want to be in your elder years and you're not able to do some of those things that you want to enjoy with your grandkids. And even with your spouse, you may want to travel, and who wants to travel, and I'm on a cane and you in a wheelchair, and we got to push each other. We got to take all this medicine. It's a lot, you guys. All right. So I appreciate it. Women, if you have a man in your life, encourage them to go to the doctor, partner with them to be their exercise partner, hold them accountable for going to the doctor. You don't necessarily have to go with them, but just encourage them to make the appointment, follow up with them, make sure they made the appointment, and then ask them what happened. Don't preach at them, don't point the finger, but just be there as a source of support for them. And again, just make sure that you're choosing healthier lifestyle choices so that it can roll over and affect them as well. So my closing sponsor is Gloria Dotson with Mary Kay. She's catering to all of your beauty needs from head to toe. You can go over to marykay.com/GDOTSON for some new and exciting products. Walter said great information. He learned a lot. Thank you so much, Walter. I appreciate you for tuning in. I will leave you guys with this words of wisdom. It says, a man too busy to take care of his body is like a mechanic too busy to take care of his tools. So again, as always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Reshell. Join me next Monday at 6 p.m. right here on Intellectual Radio. As always, Warriors Talk is changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady Reshell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady Reshell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on IntellectualRadio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady Reshell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.